First contact. In the vast expanse of the cosmos, humanity had long wondered if we were alone. That question was answered on a crisp autumn morning when Dr. Samantha Chen, lead researcher at the SETI Institute, detected an unmistakable pattern buried in the cosmic static. The signal was clear, precise, and undeniably artificial. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization had begun. News of the discovery spread like wildfire across the globe. Governments convened emergency sessions, religious leaders sought meaning in ancient texts, and the public oscillated between excitement and fear. The signal, originating from a star system just 40 light-years away, contained a simple mathematical sequence: prime numbers, the universal language of the cosmos. Dr. Chen and her team worked tirelessly to decode the message hidden within the numbers. After weeks of analysis, they uncovered coordinates for a rendezvous point just beyond Mars' orbit. The aliens were coming, and they wanted to meet. The next 6 months saw unprecedented global cooperation. The United Earth Space Initiative, UESI, was formed, pooling resources and intellect from every nation. Space agencies worldwide accelerated their programs, preparing for humanity's cosmic debut. Meanwhile, a backup plan was set in motion. Project Sentinel, a global defense system shrouded in secrecy. As the estimated arrival date approached, Earth held its collective breath. Space telescopes scanned the heavens, searching for any sign of the approaching visitors. Then, on a quiet Tuesday afternoon, they appeared. The alien fleet materialized just outside the moon's orbit, a breathtaking armada of sleek, silver vessels that dwarfed anything humanity had ever constructed. Their sudden appearance, bypassing all of Earth's early warning systems, sent shockwaves through the scientific community. Whatever propulsion technology the aliens possessed was centuries beyond human understanding. UESI immediately initiated first contact protocols. A message of peace and welcome was broadcast on all frequencies, accompanied by a mathematical proof of humanity's intelligence. Hours passed with no response, the alien ships hanging motionless in space, a silent armada that blotted out the stars. Just as tensions reached a breaking point, a response came. A holographic projection appeared simultaneously in every major city on Earth, a being of ethereal beauty, with iridescent skin and eyes that seemed to hold the depths of the universe within them. People of Earth, the alien spoke, its words translated into every human language simultaneously. We are the Zoraxians, travelers from the stars. We come in peace, seeking to share knowledge and culture with your young species. The world erupted in celebration. Humanity had dreamed of this moment for centuries, and now it had arrived. The Zoraxian ambassador, who called itself Arxon, agreed to meet with Earth's leaders at a neutral location, the International Space Station. As preparations for the historic meeting began, Dr. Chen couldn't shake a feeling of unease. The aliens' technology was too advanced, their arrival too perfect. Something about the Zoraxians didn't add up, but her concerns were dismissed as paranoia in the face of humanity's greatest moment. Little did Earth know, the true intentions of the Zoraxians were far from peaceful. As the alien fleet hung in orbit, cloaked ships were already deploying around the planet, mapping defenses and identifying strategic targets. The Zoraxians had encountered many young species in their galactic travels, and all had fallen before their might. They saw no reason why Earth would be any different. But humanity had a few surprises of its own. Deep beneath the surface of an unassuming mountain, the final touches were being put on Project Sentinel. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the project's lead scientist, watched as the quantum core pulsed with energy. "Let's hope we never have to use this," she murmured to her team. The weapon they had created defied the laws of physics as humanity understood them, a last resort that could rewrite the very fabric of space-time. As Earth prepared to welcome its cosmic visitors, the stage was set for a confrontation that would determine the fate of humanity. The Zoraxians believed they faced a primitive species ripe for conquest, but they were about to learn a harsh lesson about underestimating the tenacity, ingenuity, and sheer determination of the human race. The first contact was about to become humanity's greatest challenge, and potentially its finest hour. The ultimatum. The meeting aboard the International Space Station was a spectacle unlike any in human history. Earth's most influential leaders gathered in the cramped quarters, their differences set aside in the face of this monumental encounter. Arkson, the Zoraxian ambassador, glided into the module, its bioluminescent skin casting an otherworldly glow across the assembled humans. Initial discussions were cordial, filled with exchanges of scientific knowledge and cultural insights. The Zoraxians spoke of their vast interstellar empire, spanning thousands of worlds across multiple galaxies. They offered to share advanced medical technology that could cure Earth's most devastating diseases and propulsion systems that could take humanity to the stars. However, as the talks progressed, a subtle shift occurred in Arkson's demeanor. Its melodic voice took on a harder edge as it began to speak of Earth's place in the galactic order. "Your world is young," Arkson said, its eyes pulsing with an inner light. "Primitive, by our standards. We have much to teach you, but such knowledge comes at a price." The assembled leaders exchanged uneasy glances as Arkson continued. "The Zoraxian Empire requires certain assurances from the worlds it protects. Your planet holds resources valuable to us. In exchange for our guidance and protection, we will need unrestricted access to these resources." United Nations Secretary-General Adebayo Okafor leaned forward, his voice steady despite the tension in the room. "And if we decline this offer of protection?" Arkson's skin flashed with patterns of deep crimson. "That would be unwise. The galaxy is a dangerous place for isolated worlds. Without our protection, Earth would be vulnerable to less benevolent species. Surely you understand the prudence of accepting our generous offer." The thinly veiled threat hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Earth's leaders requested time to consider the proposal, but Arkson's patience had worn thin. With a gesture, the alien summoned a holographic display showing the Zoraxian fleet in orbit. The number of ships had tripled since their arrival, a silent armada poised to strike. "You have 6 of your Earth hours to submit to Zoraxian rule," Arkson declared, all pretense of friendliness gone. "Failure to comply will result in the annihilation of your major cities as a demonstration of our power. The choice is yours." With that, Arkson vanished in a shimmer of light, teleporting back to the Zoraxian flagship and leaving Earth's leaders in stunned silence. As news of the ultimatum spread, panic gripped the planet. Streets filled with protesters demanding resistance, while others called for immediate surrender to avoid bloodshed. Military forces worldwide were placed on high alert, but against the technological might of the Zoraxians, Earth's most advanced weapons seemed laughably primitive. In Washington, D.C., an emergency session of global leaders convened to determine humanity's response. The debate was fierce, with factions arguing for both capitulation and defiance. "We cannot bow to these threats," thundered the Russian president, pounding his fist on the table. "Humanity will not be enslaved." "And what would you have us do?" countered the Chinese premier. "Fight a war we cannot win. We must negotiate, buy time until we can find a way to resist." As the debate raged, a secure video link crackled to life. Dr. Yuki Tanaka's face appeared on the screen, her expression grim but determined. "Mr. President, distinguished leaders, I believe we have an option you need to consider." For the next hour, Dr. Tanaka briefed the assembly on Project Sentinel. She explained the quantum entanglement technology they had developed, capable of disrupting the very laws of physics. The weapon could, in theory, create localized areas where the fundamental forces of the universe behaved chaotically, rendering advanced technology useless. "We've never tested it on this scale," Dr. Tanaka admitted. "The risks are enormous. We could save Earth or accidentally tear a hole in the fabric of space-time." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. They were betting the fate of humanity on untested technology born of theoretical physics. Yet faced with the alternative of surrender to an alien empire, the choice became clear. President Elena Rodriguez of the United States stood, her voice unwavering. We will not bow to tyranny, be it from Earth or the stars. Humanity has faced extinction before, from ice ages, plagues, and our own destructive nature. Each time, we have emerged stronger. We will do so again. She turned to the video screen. Dr. Tanaka, you have 1 hour to prepare Project Sentinel for deployment. As for the rest of us, we have a message to send to our uninvited guests. As the leaders dispersed to set the plan in motion, Dr. Chen approached the president. Ma'am, there's something else you should know. We've detected unusual energy readings from the dark side of the moon. I believe the Zoraxians may have a hidden base there, perhaps established long before their official arrival. President Rodriguez nodded grimly. Then we'll need to deal with that too. Humanity is about to show these aliens that we're not as defenseless as they think. Around the world, as the deadline approached, humanity prepared for war. Military personnel kissed their families goodbye, not knowing if they'd return. Civilians stocked up on supplies and huddled in shelters. In orbit, the crew of the International Space Station watched helplessly as the Zoraxian fleet grew ever larger. At UVSI headquarters, Dr. Chen and her team worked frantically to analyze every scrap of data on the aliens, searching for any weakness they could exploit. In the depths of the secret mountain facility, Dr. Tanaka ran final diagnostics on Project Sentinel, the quantum core humming with barely contained energy. As the 6-hour deadline neared its end, President Rodriguez stepped up to a podium, cameras broadcasting her image to every corner of the globe and to the Zoraxian fleet above. Her voice rang out, clear and defiant. To the Zoraxian Empire, humanity rejects your ultimatum. We will not surrender our world or our freedom. If you want Earth, you'll have to fight for it. And I promise you this, it will be a fight you'll never forget. High above, on the Zoraxian flagship, Arxon received the transmission. Its skin pulsed with patterns of amusement and contempt. So be it, it murmured. Let the conquest begin. As the deadline expired, the Zoraxian fleet began to move. The battle for Earth was about to begin, and the fate of humanity hung in the balance. Resistance begins. The sky erupted in a dazzling, terrifying light show as the Zoraxian fleet launched its first salvo. Beams of energy, more powerful than anything humanity had ever witnessed, lanced down from orbit, targeting military installations and major cities across the globe. But the aliens' confidence in their overwhelming technological superiority was about to be shaken. Moments before the attack began, Dr. Tanaka had activated Project Sentinel, a network of quantum entanglement devices, hidden in key locations around the planet, sprang to life. As the Zoraxian weapons fire entered Earth's atmosphere, it encountered zones of chaotic spacetime. The once precise energy beams twisted and warped, many missing their targets entirely or dissipating harmlessly in the upper atmosphere. In orbit, Arxon watched in disbelief as the majority of the first strike failed. Impossible, it hissed, its skin flashing angry patterns of red and black. Scan the planet. Find out how they're doing this. Leaders, we can't understand it all yet, but we're making progress. More importantly, we might be able to disrupt their command and control systems. This intelligence proved crucial as Earth's military leaders coordinated a global counterattack. Using the decrypted communications, they were able to anticipate Zoraxian movements and set up ambushes. The aliens found their once perfect coordination failing, their strategies becoming increasingly disjointed. As the battle raged on, Dr. Tanaka made a startling discovery. The quantum fluctuations caused by Project Sentinel were having an unexpected effect on the fabric of spacetime itself. Small, localized wormholes were spontaneously forming and collapsing in the upper atmosphere. This could be our key to taking the fight to them, she explained to the crisis team. If we can stabilize these wormholes, we might be able to create a direct path to their ships in orbit. The idea was risky, bordering on insane, but desperation bred innovation. A plan was quickly formulated. Special forces teams from around the world were assembled, equipped with experimental quantum-stabilized gear. Their mission: use the temporary wormholes to board and sabotage key Zoraxian vessels. As night fell on the first day of the invasion, humanity had proven far more resilient than the Zoraxians had ever anticipated. Cities lay in ruins, millions were displaced, but the human spirit remained unbroken. The aliens' easy conquest had turned into a grueling war of attrition. In orbit, Orcs paced the bridge of the flagship, its skin cycling through patterns of frustration and anger. The humans' resistance was unlike anything in Zoraxian records. How could a species so technologically inferior pose such a challenge? The answer, Orcs was beginning to realize, lay not in technology, but in the indomitable will and adaptability of humanity. As Earth prepared for another day of desperate battle, a new phase of the war was about to begin. The wormhole assault teams were in position, ready to take a leap into the unknown. Humanity was about to bring the fight directly to the Zoraxian fleet in a daring gambit that could turn the tide of the war. The resistance had begun in earnest, and Earth had sent a clear message to the cosmos. Humanity would not go quietly into the night. The battle for Earth's future was far from over, and the Zoraxians were about to learn that underestimating human ingenuity and determination was a costly mistake. The turning tide. As dawn broke on the second day of the invasion, the Zoraxian High Command was in disarray. Their initial strategy lay in tatters, their supposedly invincible fleet bloodied by Earth's unexpected defenses. Orcs, once confident in an easy victory, now faced the unthinkable prospect of failure. "We need reinforcements," Orcs declared to the Zoraxian War Council. "Summon the reserve fleet from the Andromeda outpost. We will crush these humans with sheer numbers." But even as the call went out, Earth was preparing its most audacious move yet. In a secret facility beneath the Antarctic ice, an international team of scientists and soldiers made final preparations for Operation Quantum Leap. Dr. Tanaka stood before the assembled group, her face etched with determination. "What we're attempting has never been done before," she said, her voice echoing in the cavernous chamber. "We're going to use the quantum fluctuations to create stable wormholes directly into the Zoraxian ships. Your job is to get in, disable their key systems, and get out. The fate of our world rests on your shoulders." The strike teams, composed of elite soldiers from dozens of nations, nodded grimly. They had trained for months in secret, preparing for a war they hoped would never come. Now, that training would be put to the ultimate test. As the Zoraxian reinforcements began to arrive, materializing in flashes of light at the edge of the solar system, Earth launched its counterstrike. Synchronized with pinpoint precision, quantum gateways opened across the globe. Strike teams stepped through shimmering portals, crossing vast distances in an instant to emerge inside Zoraxian vessels. The aliens, caught completely off guard by this impossible invasion, found themselves fighting a war on two fronts, outside their ships and within them. Human soldiers, armed with a mixture of conventional weapons and reverse-engineered alien technology, fought with desperate courage in the twisting corridors of the Zoraxian craft. On Earth's surface and in the skies above, the battle raged on with renewed intensity. The quantum disruption fields continued to wreak havoc on Zoraxian systems, but the sheer number of reinforcements threatened to overwhelm Earth's defenses through brute force. In New York, the Statue of Liberty stood defiant amidst the chaos, its torch serving as a rallying point for human fighters. In Egypt, Zoraxian dropships clashed with human forces among the ancient pyramids, the contrast between Earth's history and its possible future stark and poignant. But the true turning point of the war was taking place in orbit. On board the Zoraxian flagship, Orcs found itself facing an enemy it had dismissed as primitive. A team of human commandos, led by Major Sarah Chen, Dr. Chen's younger sister, fought their way through the ship's defenses, pushing towards the central control room. How is this possible? Orcs rage, watching as more and more systems went dark. How are they aboard our ships? The answer came in the form of a quantum grenade, a device that created a localized field of chaotic spacetime. As it detonated, Zoraxian weapons and defense systems in the area simply ceased to function. Major Chen and her team burst into the control room, their faces set with grim determination. In the name of humanity, Major Chen declared, her weapon trained on Arxen, your invasion is over. Across the Zoraxian fleet, similar scenes played out. Human strike teams, though taking heavy casualties, succeeded in disabling key systems on dozens of ships. Some vessels, their control systems sabotaged, collided with each other in spectacular explosions that lit up Earth's orbit. On the ground, the tide of battle began to shift. With the Zoraxian fleet in disarray, their ground forces found themselves without orbital support. Earth's military, coordinating on a global scale, began to push back the invaders. In Beijing, Chinese forces emerged from underground tunnels to ambush Zoraxian patrols. In the Amazon rainforest, indigenous tribes guided Brazilian special forces through the dense jungle, outflanking alien positions. On the streets of London, the famous British resolve manifested as citizens joined soldiers in driving back the invaders. But the war was far from over. The Zoraxian reinforcements, though disoriented by the loss of their flagship, began to regroup. They launched a furious counterattack, determined to crush humanity's resistance once and for all. As battles raged across the planet, and in orbit, Dr. Tanaka made a chilling discovery. The quantum gateways, while providing a crucial advantage, were having an unforeseen effect on the fabric of spacetime. Microtears were forming, tiny rips in reality that, if left unchecked, could grow to threaten the very existence of Earth. We need to shut down Project Sentinel, she informed the crisis team. If we don't, we might save Earth from the Zoraxians only to lose it to a collapse of spacetime itself. The decision was agonizing. Shutting down humanity's greatest defense could open the door for a renewed Zoraxian offensive, but the alternative was unthinkable: the potential destruction of Earth itself. As world leaders debated this terrible choice, a new factor entered the equation. The quantum gateways had attracted attention from beyond the conflict. Other alien civilizations, alerted by the massive disturbances in spacetime, began to take notice of the war for Earth. In the Zoraxian flagship's control room, as human forces secured their prisoners, a new signal came through. A message, not from Earth or the Zoraxian Empire, but from somewhere far beyond. "Attention combatants," the message began, translated simultaneously into human and Zoraxian languages. "The conflict in Sol system has been noted. Prepare for intervention." As the message played out, massive ships, dwarfing even the Zoraxian fleet, began to appear at the edges of the solar system. The war for Earth had just become infinitely more complicated. Humanity had turned the tide against the Zoraxian invasion, showing resilience and ingenuity that had taken the aliens completely by surprise. But now, as new and unknown players entered the game, the future of Earth hung in the balance. The next few hours would determine not just the outcome of the war, but humanity's place in a much larger and more complex galactic community. Humanity triumphant. The arrival of the new alien fleet cast an ominous shadow over the war-torn Earth. Both humans and Zoraxians watched with a mixture of awe and trepidation as the massive ships took up position around the solar system. The newcomers' technology was clearly far beyond anything either side had at their disposal. In the flagship's control room, now under human control, Major Chen and her team tensed for a new threat. Arxen, the captured Zoraxian leader, let out a sound that might have been a laugh. "You humans think you've won," it said, its skin pulsing with dark amusement. "But you've merely attracted the attention of powers beyond your comprehension. The galactic conclave has arrived, and they do not look kindly on upstart species that disrupt the cosmic order." Before Major Chen could respond, a shimmering portal opened in the center of the room. Through it stepped a being unlike anything they had ever seen, a creature of pure energy, its form constantly shifting and flowing. I am Zix, emissary of the Galactic Conclave, the being announced, its voice resonating in their minds rather than their ears. We have come to pass judgment on this conflict and determine the fate of this world. On Earth, similar scenes played out in key locations around the globe. Conclave representatives appeared in the White House, the Kremlin, the United Nations, and other centers of human power. Their message was the same everywhere. The war was to cease immediately, and both species were to present their case before the conclave. President Rodriguez, standing firm despite the otherworldly being before her, spoke for humanity. We did not ask for this war. We were invaded, threatened with enslavement or extinction. We fought back because we had no choice. Humanity wishes for peace, but we will not surrender our freedom or our world. Orcs, brought to the conclave's massive flagship along with human representatives, presented the Zoraxian case. It spoke of a galactic order, of the natural right of advanced species to guide and govern younger races. The Zoraxian Empire, it argued, was merely fulfilling its duty to bring Earth into the fold of galactic civilization. As the conclave deliberated, an uneasy ceasefire fell over Earth. Humans and Zoraxians alike tended to their wounded, counted their losses, and waited with bated breath for a decision that would shape the future of both species. It was during this lull that Dr. Tanaka made a breakthrough that would change everything. Studying the quantum fluctuations caused by Project Sentinel, she discovered something astonishing, a fundamental law of physics that had eluded both human and Zoraxian science. It's not just about disrupting technology, she explained to a hastily assembled group of human leaders and scientists. We've stumbled upon a way to manipulate the very fabric of reality. If we can harness this, we could revolutionize travel, energy production, even the nature of life itself. The implications were staggering. This discovery had the potential to catapult humanity to a technological level that rivaled or even surpassed that of the Galactic Conclave. But there was a catch. Using this knowledge could have unforeseen consequences on a cosmic scale. As debates raged over what to do with this newfound knowledge, the conclave reached its decision. Zix appeared simultaneously before the leaders of Earth and the Zoraxian High Command. We have weighed the actions and motivations of both sides, Zix announced. The Zoraxian Empire's unprovoked aggression cannot be condoned. However, humanity's use of dangerous and unstable quantum technology poses a threat to the very fabric of space-time. The emissary's form shimmered, its energy pulsing with what might have been interpreted as solemnity. Therefore, the conclave has decided. The Zoraxian Empire will immediately withdraw from Earth and its solar system, never to return. Humanity will be granted provisional membership in the Galactic Conclave, with the condition that all quantum manipulation technology be surrendered for the safety of the cosmos. A tense silence fell over both human and Zoraxian leaders. The decision offered Earth protection from future invasions, but at the cost of giving up the very technology that had saved them, and potentially the key to humanity's future among the stars. It was President Rodriguez who broke the silence. With all due respect to the conclave, she said, her voice firm, humanity cannot accept these terms. We will not surrender the knowledge we've gained, or the right to forge our own path among the stars. Orcs' skin flashed with patterns of shock and outrage. You would defy the conclave. This is madness. But Rodriguez wasn't finished. Instead, we offer a counter-proposal. Humanity will share our quantum discoveries with the Galactic Conclave. In return, we ask for full membership and the right to continue our research under mutually agreed-upon safety protocols. We believe this knowledge could benefit all species, not just our own. Zix was silent for a long moment, its energy forms swirling in complex patterns. When it spoke again, there was a new tone to its mental voice, something almost like respect. Your proposal is unprecedented, Zix said. The conclave will need time to consider its implications, but your willingness to share such powerful knowledge, rather than hoard it, speaks well of your species. We will deliberate. As the conclave withdrew to consider humanity's offer, Earth held its breath. The decision would determine not just the outcome of the war, but humanity's place in the cosmos for generations to come. Days passed, feeling like an eternity. Finally, Zix returned with the Conclave's decision. Humanity's proposal has been accepted, the emissary announced. You will be granted full membership in the Galactic Conclave. A joint research initiative will be established to explore the safe use and implications of quantum manipulation technology. The Zoraxian Empire will face sanctions for their aggression, and a peacekeeping force will ensure they adhere to the terms of their withdrawal. Cheers erupted around the world as news of the decision spread. Humanity had not only survived its first interstellar war, but had emerged as a recognized power in the galactic community. In the months and years that followed, Earth underwent a transformation. The damage from the war was repaired with the help of advanced alien technology. Humanity's cities reached the skies, and its first true interstellar ships were launched. The quantum technology, carefully researched and refined, ushered in an era of plenty, solving problems of energy, food production, and environmental degradation. But perhaps the greatest change was in humanity's perception of itself. No longer alone in the universe, humans looked to the stars not with fear, but with a sense of wonder and possibility. The war had proven that humanity could face even the greatest challenges and emerge stronger. As Earth took its place among the galactic community, it carried with it the lessons learned in those desperate days of invasion. The strength found in unity, the power of innovation, and the unyielding human spirit had not only saved Earth, but had opened up a future brighter than anyone could have imagined. The Zoraxian invasion, meant to subjugate humanity, had instead propelled it to the stars. And as the first human ambassadors set out to explore their new galactic neighborhood, they carried with them a message for all the cosmos. Humanity had arrived, ready to face whatever challenges the universe might hold.